Hey guys, now that I've showed you how depression affects a person on a daily basis, this is going to be a continuance of that video. This video I'm getting ready to let you hear is what effects does depression have on the brain. Okay, I want you guys to hear this really well, and it will tell you what effects it has. So let's listen to it.
Hello all. Depression is a common but serious mood disorder which affects millions of people. The number of people diagnosed with depression increases by 20% each year. Contrary to popular belief, depression doesn't only include feelings of sadness and helplessness. The mood disorder has multiple effects onto our brain. Three parts of the brain play a role in depression: the hippocampus, amygdala, prefrontal cortex, and here's how. The hippocampus stores memory and controls production of cortisol. Long-term exposure to high cortisol levels slows down the progression of new neurons and causes neurons in the hippocampus to shrink. In turn, your memory is affected, as well as behaviors linked with your sense of self. Now, the prefrontal cortex regulates emotions and decision-making, and when there's high levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, the prefrontal cortex also shrinks. The amygdala facilitates emotional responses like pleasure and fear. In people with depression, the amygdala is enlarged and more active due to cortisol. Hyperactive and enlarged amygdala results in sleep disturbances and activity patterns. Well, we hope you like this video. In order to find more about depression and its effects on your body and brain, follow ConsumerHealthDigest.com.
Now that's how depression affects your brain. Now let's see how anxiety affects your brain.
Stressed out about school? Don't panic. Or if you do, just remember, it's all in your head. It's telling us to watch out for danger. It came in handy back when we were fighting off predators. But sometimes the brain can't tell the MCAT from a wildcat. Let's say you sit down to take an exam. Sure, you waited to the last minute to cram, but you're not worried. You know you're going to nail this one. But just as your professor's passing out the test, your heart starts racing. Your palms get sweaty. You can't remember a single thing on the exam. What's going on? Stress can activate the amygdala, aka the emotional center of the brain. If the amygdala starts freaking out, it sends signals to the hypothalamus, which regulates the central nervous system. That can cause your blood pressure to rise and your heart rate to speed up. It could also stimulate release of a hormone called cortisol, also known as the stress hormone. Cortisol can make it harder for your brain to access short-term memories, which is why you suddenly can't remember those formulas you crammed last night. If you find yourself panicking during an exam, put your pencil down and take a few deep breaths. This resets the stress response, allowing you to regain focus and control. And here's another tip. Start studying earlier and in small chunks, instead of waiting until the last minute. That way, if you do get anxious, you'll have your long-term memory to fall back on.
Now that we see how anxiety affects the brain, let's see what other types of anxiety there are. Because I think this is going to be a thing for this. Educational stuff and stuff like that. So, let's see how it does.
GAD, or generalized anxiety disorder. This type is often manifested by excessive worrying about simple events or occurrences in life. This exaggerated worrying can last for days, months or years, and starts to affect the day-to-day routine of the person. It is very hard to concentrate on daily activities and carry out work since severe worry occupies the mind all throughout the day. In severe cases, the person always anticipates worst-case scenarios and feels exhausted, overly stressed, tense, and can often have migraines and body aches. 2. Panic disorder. Panic disorder is manifested when a person feels sudden terror without warning, and it occurs repeatedly, which results in panic attacks. This kind of anxiety disorder has symptoms such as heart palpitations, chest pains, shortness of breath, and dizziness. 3. Obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD. A person with OCD performs rituals and has unwanted thoughts and obsessions. These thoughts and obsessions lead to these rituals being done repeatedly. Most often, people with OCD recognize that they have this problem but can't do anything about their compulsions because of the fear that their obsessions might be true. 4. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. This type of disorder is caused by a traumatic event or events that a person witnessed or experienced. Many returned soldiers suffer with PTSD, as do victims of torture. People with this type of disorder experience flashbacks, nightmares, and are tense and irritable. Such symptoms make it hard for them to build lasting relationships, whether at work or in their personal life. If you suffer from anxiety or panic attacks, then click here to get your completely free guide to overcoming and beating anxiety once and for all. You'll find all of the most effective and proven techniques for beating panic and anxiety forever, all inside this one short guide.
Now we know how depression affects the brain, and we know how anxiety affects the brain. And we definitely know what types of anxiety there is. Okay, this happens to be another educational video, guys. I'm trying to make awareness of all this, and hoping that by me doing so, this is a positive note on my YouTube channel. And I can, right now, me doing this makes me feel happy. Me making a note of all this and making sure I can get this out there so people know what it is, making me happy. Now, this isn't a fake happy, this is a real happy. This is like a happy-go-lucky feeling inside my body right now. And I like doing this. I like making things aware of what, disorders are. And basically, we know what affects the brain on depression and what affects the brain on anxiety and everything else. So, here's another video. Things about anxiety nobody talks about. Let's hear this. Anxiety is a term that's used very loosely. It's not often that people acknowledge how disciplined it is. It's hard to have relationships when you have anxiety. Anxiety causes low self-esteem, low self-worth, and sometimes we push people away because of it. Even if I take medicine, it doesn't mean I'm suddenly free of panic attack, and anxiety. People with anxiety can feel helpless and suicidal. These thoughts are only accessible with others more severe mental illnesses. Some of us have violent, intense thoughts, like not being able to stop imagining family or friends you care deeply about dying horribly and painfully. Anxiety can make you jump into a wrong conclusion really fast. It can come with physical issues, complication, and runs, punching, and much more. All the gross stuff that makes no one wants to openly admit. It can cause you to snap at people when they're doing something that triggers you. Then later, when you try to apologize to explain, they don't understand. It's common for young children to be labeled as bad because people can't understand anxiety disorders in children. For me, sex/relationship difficulties stem from anxiety. And this is a video, this is not me. This is, stuff that people don't know about anxiety. We may feel completely flaccid and physically worn out after an episode. Which, by the way, guys, I'll explain this to you. Last night's episode, I was worn completely out. Even if I wanted to do something like clean house, it wasn't going to happen. Because of the fact that when we have these attacks or anxiety moments, we get worn out really easy. So that's what I had to explain. We continually swamp and wear masks to hide how we really feel. Our human challenges and masters of disguise. See, other people don't see our panic and pain. The fear of anxiety can also cause it. Now, this is one thing that I really want you guys to know. This may be my second video on anxiety, but I want to get, not my point across, but I want to make sure that me, myself, can accept my anxiety as what it is. It's not only for people who have this issue, it's for me. So,
Anxiety. The facts. Anxiety is a real illness and is left untreated in many. The earlier an individual seeks treatment, the more successful treatment is. Anxiety is a blanket term used to describe feelings of anxiousness, dread, fear, and uncertainty. Those who have anxiety on a regular basis or feel anxious for 6 months or longer
usually have an anxiety disorder. There are 5 common types of disorders, including generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, social anxiety disorder or social phobia, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Individuals may also have individual phobias, such as fear of flying or spiders. Everyone does not have the same type of anxiety disorder or the same exact symptoms. Seeking help is important to discover the type of disorder and the proper...
Now, I'm going to stop for now on this because I'm going to have to do some more research. And then once I do some more research and actually find it, I'll do another video on it. But I just want to get this out there. Educational wise, that's what I'm trying to do. Make awareness of the situation, and I hope this helps me deal with what I have to deal with. So, have a good one, guys.